Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's always a pleasure to see you. I hope you're doing well. Day one of the Paris Masters for us today. I've been looking forward to this one. Very, very excited indeed. As always, we'll be touching on each and every one of these matches that we've got for today. Get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'm going for personally today will be in that pinned comment. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. Take it if you want. Leave it if you must. It's entirely up to you. The choice will always be yours. But do like the video, get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. We do continue to grow each and every day. Very, very close to 3k subscribers now, folks, so get yourself involved. It would be an honour to welcome you to the team. And since there's nothing to recap, day one, round one, we will waste no more time. We'll get straight into business. Let's get it on. First one is Flavio Cobolli and Thomas Machac. I'm not going to waste too much time on these today, folks. We have got a lot of matches. It is the first round, like I always say. You've just got to see who wants to be here and who doesn't. Most importantly, who deserves to be here and who doesn't. We should have a decent idea of that come the second round. But for Cobolli and Thomas Machac, they played each other last week. And prior to that, the head-to-head was 4-0 to Thomas Machac. It's now 4-1 to the Italian. Flavio Cobolli, he didn't really struggle at all against Thomas Machac. I thought he was going to be in for a tough time. Absolutely not. Tie break and then a 6-2. Call it what you want. Happy days. Happy days. Like I say, Flavio Cobolli just decided he wanted to win that one that day. Fair play. But when it comes to hardcore tennis, I said it the other day, I'll say it again just for the sake of it. Thomas Machac really should be beating the likes of Flavio Cobolli, based on what I know. But I don't think I've seen the real Thomas Machac since that title in Acapulco. Shout out to Thomas Machac, we had the outright on that. But yeah, ever since then, he ain't really done much. He's struggled to implement any damage on this tour. Just sort of been going through the motions, plodding along. Done nothing on the clay, nothing on the grass. We come to the US Open, and I thought, oh, maybe he's going to be playing good again. He had a fairly decent, fairly decent US Open. My God. But then ever since that US Open, he's just continued to do fuck all. I do have a lot of doubt about the... it's always the fitness that Thomas Machac, he's always pulling out of these games. He's always pulling out. So I always say he's kind of a free hit. If you've got any question marks surrounding the fitness of Thomas Machac, you're probably alright to just bet on him anyway, because he does pull out of these matches. I question, do I say the commitment? The inspiration, maybe that's probably a better one to go with. I've got a couple of doubts about how inspired Thomas Machac is to see the season out now. I just couldn't trust him to turn up. He's a dog, and it is very tempting because Flavio Cobolli is just a straight up favourite in this one. Not messing around. 1.73. Based on what I seen last week, I couldn't talk it off going for that. I couldn't. I always say how much can change in the matter of a week. I'd like to think not a lot. And for what it's worth, Flavio Cobolli, he kind of hung in there with Jannik Sinner as well, 6-2 and a tie break. I don't know. It's food for thought. Thomas Machac has won one match since that US Open. He hasn't really played a lot. Like I say, you don't see him a lot. I haven't seen that much of him this season, or as much as I would have liked. I had high hopes for him after Mexico, but they started to fleet rather quick, and I don't know if anything's left anymore. Slight lean towards Flavio Cobolli. I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas Machac turns up and beats him. Like I say, he's just a better player. You just don't know when you're going to get him. You never know when you're going to get him. I haven't seen anything as of late to suggest the right guy is going to turn up in this. So while the odds are as close as they are, the Italian for a set on your parlay, it should be alright. He destroyed him in that last set last week, so maybe we get something a little bit similar. But we'll move on to Darderi and Cazaux. This would be a straight Cazaux or nothing spot for me, folks. Absolutely. Darderi, as we know, it's not really suited to the hard courts. Fantastic on the clay, but for how good he is on the clay, it doesn't really translate to the quicker surfaces. Cazaux did get himself that title on the Challenger Tour not that long ago. Turned up to Kazakhstan and looked crap. But like we always say, the mandatory first round exit after you've took a title, it happens. So maybe I won't hold it against him too much. He's much more suited to the hard court. 18 and 13 for Cazaux, 6 and 11 for Darderi. Home Masters, Paris Masters for Cazaux. You've got to turn up, and at the bare minimum, you've got to take out Luciano Darderi. I'm not going to say it's an easy win, because you're going to have to be locked in. You're going to have to be fucking switched on in this one to take out this guy, because if Darderi comes out and he looks flying, he's making all the shots, he can be very aggressive. He could be a bit of a problem, but he is very beatable, more than beatable. For Arthur Cazaux, I'd say he probably should be beating Darderi on the hard court in Paris. If you can't trust him now, you'll never be able to trust him again. 1.4. It's an ideal parlay piece. It really is. A couple of people mentioned it the other day. I have had my eye on it. It stays at 1.4. If it's pinned, it's pinned. If it's not, it's not. But Arthur Cazaux would be the one for me. Daniel Altmaier, Marcus Giron. Nightmare matchup. I'd say, you look at the way these two play tennis, they're fairly similar. I'd say these two share a lot of similarities. Obviously, Daniel Altmaier a lot more suited to the clay. Marcus Giron much more suited to the hard court. And if I'm being honest with you, folks, based on what we've had this season, not even just this season, let's just say post the US Open, Daniel Altmaier's won 2 games. Marcus Giron has won 3 games. Won 2 in Chengdu, beat Matteo Bellucci in Belgium. Neither one setting the world alight. I do believe the only thing that would separate a match like this would be the surface. Like I say, Marcus Giron, if you're going to get anything, it's probably going to be on the hard court. 12 and 4 on the surface. Daniel Altmaier, 11 and 16, 13 and 8 on the clay. He hasn't really played as much as what I'd expected him to this year, to be honest with you. I mean, 30 wins, 33 losses, it's not bad. But there's quite a few of them. Daniel Altmaier's not the only one, but there's quite a few of them that you would class as clay court specialists. They tend to opt for the hard court a bit more this season. I'm not against it. I like it. I do like it. But I don't think there's a lot to go off. I feel like this is just prime for an over, isn't it? The more I think about it, it's probably just prime for an over. Marcus Giron couldn't get it done last year in Auckland. They've played each other once before. Daniel Altmaier did beat him on the hard court tiebreak 6-2 last year. So he's clearly more than capable of beating Marcus Giron. Like I say, it's fairly evenly matched in most departments. Neither one is going to blast you with power from the baseline, are they? Neither one is just going to save bullets at you. Both of these can just play tennis. And I imagine it'll be a decent game. And we'll see. We'll certainly find out who the better tennis player is today. Let's say Marcus Giron on the hard court. That probably would be the decider for me in a matchup like this. But I imagine I could have said that last time. And Daniel Altmaier beat him quite comfortably too. I know maybe Daniel Altmaier's not as bad of a dog shout in this as I originally thought. 2.5. Any takers on that? You do let me know. Like I say, it's the first round. I'm not going to nail myself to a cross trying to find some value in Daniel Altmaier and Marcus Giron. So we will move on to Fabian Marozsan and Arthur Rinderknech. I'll be going with Arthur Rinderknech. Once again, home masters for the Frenchman. The Shanghai Masters finalist, the runner-up. If we get that version of him, I'd say he should be sweet to take out Fabian Marozsan today. Fabian Marozsan's been alright, especially on the hard court. He's decent, poses a threat most of the time. Had a decent run in Kazakhstan. Last time out, did get to the quarterfinals. Bumped into Medvedev. Not a lot you can do against him, unfortunately. Back-to-back, well, not back-to-back quarterfinals. He did get to the quarterfinals in Beijing. Second round exits in Shanghai. That battle with Taylor Fritz. And then 2-1 in Kazakhstan. Arthur Rinderknech. This guy, we kind of seen this coming, didn't we? I didn't think he was going to get to the finals of the Shanghai Masters, but the way he's been playing, you can't deny him. Pretty much since we come back to the hard court, he's been sleepwalking towards this. He's been picking up speed, picking up momentum. He's not the flashiest, he's not the quickest, but what he does exceedingly well. And for the most part, that's pretty much all he needs to do. He serves fantastic. The serve is unbelievable. The power is shit hot. The baseline game's really good. The forehand's good. Everything's been right for Arthur Rinderknech the past couple of months. Much more consistent. I say the run that he went on in Shanghai was just Not only did I see it coming, I still can't believe it. Not only that, Valentin Vasharov as well. We'll touch on him tomorrow because he's playing too, but say something about that. Say something about that. I know we've already spoken about it, but I still sit here thinking about it. Every time I see Rinderknech, I go, how good was he? How good has he been? Last time we seen him, didn't play any of the tournaments last week. I would have to assume he's getting himself ready for the Paris Masters. Why not? If he'd have played Fabio Marozsan last week, you'd have taken him in a heartbeat. I think it's one of them matches where, although Fabio Marozsan, we do live in a world where anything can happen. It's one of them. He could most definitely turn up and pull off an upset for whatever reason today, but I do think everything would have to go right for Fabio Marozsan today, whereas Rinderknech just needs to turn up and do what he does well. And more often than not a lot you can do about that, especially on these quicker courts. Had that last week, Michelsen, not last week in the Shanghai Masters, sorry. Medvedev, Michelsen, Zverev, Lehechka, Aliassime, Medvedev, Vasharov. The Medvedev one was probably the diciest match out of a lot of them. Like I say, he could have easily lost that one if Medvedev didn't pull out, but he didn't. But he did, sorry. I'd have to go him. I just have to go with him. I just think all the signs are pointing towards Rinderknech. He does everything really well. Based on what I've seen in Shanghai, I don't think there's many reason to go against him in this one today, so we shall move on to Tien and Nuno Borges. Do we go with Tien today? I'm kind of leaning towards Tien in this one, even if it is ever so slightly. He hasn't played any indoor matches this year, so this will be the first one. 26 and 13 on the surface for the American. As for Nuno Borges, 17 and 14. It's not bad. It's not not great, but it's not bad. As we know, Nuno Borges probably a little bit more seasoned in the spot, if you will. Been around the block a few more times compared to Tien, but this year we're talking about game and we're talking about results. Tien has been much better. Tien has impressed me a lot more than what Nuno Borges has done. And you know what? You look at the amount of wins, it's fairly similar. 33 wins, 24 for Tien, 31 for Nuno Borges. The hardcourt results that the American has had has been fantastic, man. Especially on the Asian swing. When we came over to the Asian swing, Hangzhou weren't too great. Navone, Zeppieri, Valentin Royer sent him home. Valentin Royer was just on fire. Not a lot you can do. Got to the final in Beijing. Cerundolo, Cobolli, Musetti, Medvedev. Fantastic. Had to play Jannik Sinner in the final. Not a lot you can do in that one once again. And then we go to the Shanghai Masters. Kecmanovic, Mute, Norrie had another close game with Daniel Medvedev once again, but he lost that one. Fantastic. The ceiling for Tien seems to be getting higher and higher every time I see him. Nuno Borges, at this point in the season, I mean, it's just like, wasn't this a first round exit for him last year? Didn't he get sent home for it? Yeah, Alejandro Tabilo beat him last year. He didn't get past the first round last year. 2-game losing streak. Dimitrov, Medvedev, can't say too much about that. He did take a set off Daniel Medvedev. He was fairly decent in the Shanghai Masters as well. Van der Sandschulp, Vukic, Jerry Shang. Say what you want about that. I'm not picking it with a lot of conviction. But with it being the first round, I ain't going to waste everyone's time going round in circles. I think I would slightly lean towards Tien, just seeing this one through. Just based on what I've seen the past few months, I mean, 1.6, it's not a bad parlay piece. Not a bad parlay piece whatsoever. We've got Norrie, Sebastian Baez. Norrie, next. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? Sebastian Baez, 3-game losing streak. He has won 3 of his last 10, dating back to the first round in Cincinnati. Since the US Open, he has won 1 match against Zhang in the Shanghai Masters. That's right. Holger Rune beat him. Valentin Royer beat him. Riley Apelka beat him. Now he plays Norrie. Norrie ain't the most trustworthy of people. Although, last time out, I mean, not last time out against Berrettini, before that, against Rublev, we said it, didn't we? We said Norrie was going to pull off that upset. But it doesn't really feel like you're predicting anything wild anymore, saying the underdog's going to beat Rublev, so I don't really know how much to take from that. He really should be taking out Sebastian Baez. I refuse to believe Cam Norrie is going to turn up and get sent home on the indoor hard courts, Paris Masters first round against Sebastian Baez. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Head-to-head's 2-0 to Cam Norrie. They haven't played for 2 years. Both of them were on the clay. Norrie's beating them on the clay. You've got to beat him on the hard court. Say less. 1.2 for Cam Norrie, probably the biggest, or at least one of the biggest favourites we've got on the entire day. Couldn't get anywhere near that, but I am expecting him to win. And we've got Francisco Cerundolo and Dimitrov. I would have to go with Cerundolo. I would have to go with Francisco Cerundolo. Got a battle of the clay babies here. It's 21-11 on the clay for Cerundolo, 21-16 for Dimitrov. But when it comes to the hard court, I think one of these is clearly much more suited to it than the other. Don't you? Don't you? I'd say so. 12-8 for Cerundolo this year, 2-2 indoors, 9-11 for Dimitrov, 5-2 indoors. He's been alright on the indoor hard court, I will give him that. These played earlier on, a couple of months ago, over in Bastad. Straight sets, no wins. It was 2-1 to Cerundolo. He did bagel him, dropped a 6-3, and then give him a 6-3 in the third. Like I say, if this was on the clay, it'd be much tighter, and I'd have a much tougher time picking who I think is going to win this. Dimitriev's looked alright in qualifying. 2 long matches, 2 3-set matches, one against Quinton Hallis, one against Alexander Kovacevic. Now he takes out Cerundolo. It's weird because, say, if you can hang with Hallis, you know, the power and the serve of Quinton Hallis, even though Quinton Hallis has been garbage this season. I apologise, Quinton, but it's just true. He ain't been too great. Everyone's been beating him. And the likes of Kovacevic, I would have said if he can beat them on the hard court, he stand a good chance against Cerundolo on the hard court. As we know, it's not exactly his favourite surface after all. But Kovacevic has been in the mud. Hallis has been in the mud. Cerundolo looked fantastic against Alex Michelsen, but did Michelsen just allow him to look so good because he turned up against Cerundolo? Everyone was turned up against Cerundolo. He turned up against Alexander Bublik, and everyone was saying he was going to beat him, and he didn't even come close. But then again, that's Bublik, innit? That's not Dimitrov. I just think the power, just the overall game of Cerundolo translates a bit more better to the quicker surfaces. He's one of the better ones that we get, that comes over from the clay and then puts in a bit of business on the hard court. Once again, slightly in, 1.5 for Cerundolo. It's very tempting. We can beat him on the clay. I do believe he can beat him on the hard court, although I think this will probably be an in-play bet. You know, you usually tell after the first 2 or 3 games how Cerundolo is going to look for the rest of the match, but providing he can hit that forehand, he keeps them unforced errors in check, I'd say he should be good for that. Alexei Popyrin, Alexander Bublik. There's only really one person that I'll be looking at in this one, folks, and you know exactly who that's going to be. That's right. I'm expecting Bublik to get this one done. Regardless of what that head-to-head would suggest, it is 4-1 to the Australian. He beat him all 4 times, 2018, 2021, 2024, and then again in the Boodles last year. First 2 and 3, third and fourth were in straight sets, and then most recently was this year in Madrid on the clay, just around the time when Alexander Bublik was starting to come into form. And would you know, he actually won that one. I'm not that surprised. 6-4 and a tiebreak. Kind of surprised it was 4-0 going into that one. Kind of surprised. That's neither here nor there. Obviously, Alexei Popyrin has had the majority of the success in this matchup in the past. But I think things are a little bit different in this one. I think things may be slightly different in this one, folks. I mean, like I've just said, over in Madrid, that was around the time when I'd say, was it around that time? Yeah, it was. Yeah, got to the final in that Phoenix Challenger before we came onto the clay. He'd done fuck all before that. Came into the season on an absolute stinker. Fairly decent in Munich. I mean, I had to qualify for Munich. Actually, it weren't decent at all. I thought that was 2-1. It's not. Qualified. Beat by Zizou Bergs. Didn't even get past the first round of Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo was first. Pardon me. But then it was Madrid. Got to the round of 16. 1-1 in Rome. Took a title on the clay. Quarterfinals in the French Open. Took a title in Germany. Took a title in Gstaad. Took another one in Kitzbühel. fairly decent US Open. You know what I'm getting at. Alexander Bublik has been blazing hot for quite some time now. And it's become fairly easy to look at these matchups when they're like the ones that we've got today and go, you know what, it just has to be him. It just has to be. Now, he's not going to win every single match. Like, we've seen him lose a couple the past few months. The one against Mannarino was a bit of a shitter. He did win the title right before that, so like we say, the mandatory loss, get it out the way. We'll give you that. Valentin Vacherov, we took a set off him in Shanghai. Fair play. And then 2-1 in Vienna until he ran into Jannik Sinner. I'm not going to complain about that. I am not going to complain about that. Alexei Popyrin, on the other hand, 7-10 on the hard court. He done most of his business on the clay, if we can even say that. 9-6 on the clay. He's on a 3-game losing streak. He has won, I'd say he's won 5 of his last 10, but we're going back to, he'd done most of that, getting to the quarterfinals in Toronto. Since that, he beat Martin Landerloos in Cincinnati, and he beat Emil Ruusuvuori in the US Open. That's it. Ever since the US Open, he got beat by Korda in Sweden the other week. And then Matteo Berrettini sent him home in Vienna. Last time out, straight sets. Alexander Bublik on the indoor hard courts, providing he turns up and providing we get the correct version. I'm just going to say he should walk this one. He should walk this one, he really should. Alexei Popyrin, apart from the serve would have to be perfect, the forehand would have to be perfect, but if I know Alexei Popyrin this season, he's been far from perfect. Far from it. Besides, it's Bublik, innit? What more do you want me to say? It's just been the case with this fella for quite some time now. You just ride it till the wheels fall off. I would like to assume he's going to turn up and get this one done. If he doesn't, if he turns up and he looks like shit, then you're not to know. It is what it is. We won't have to put up with it for the rest of the tournament, but I'd be willing to roll the dice and say Bublik should be in the right state to take out the current version of Alexei Popyrin today, folks. That's just my opinion. Call it 1.4. Is it 1.4? 1.4 to 1.5. Yeah, that would be on the parlay for me today. I feel like I'd have to. I imagine everyone's going to have a piece of Alexander Bublik on the parlay today. I assume anyway. So we'll move on. Fucking hell, I'm dying here. Alexander Muller, Brandon Nakashima. It's the quick one. Binach or nothing. 1.25. And that's Cam Norrie prices. Super favourites here. Yeah, it would have to be Brandon Nakashima. Although we're in Paris, and Alexander Muller is French, and although I keep forgetting, and I imagine you do too, he has got himself a title on the hard courts this season, right at the start of the year. Ever since that, he's been quite shit. 12 wins, 12 losses on the hard court, 0-2 indoors. As for Nakashima, 19-14, I think it's safe to say this guy excels at hard court tennis. If we're going to get anything from the American, it is most definitely going to be on the quicker surfaces and the grass too. He's fairly decent there, but for this prediction, it's going to be the hard court in a hard court Binach against Alexander Muller. Now, Alexander Muller, every now and then, if you allow him, he will turn up and he will upset the apple cart. He doesn't do it a lot. He's not like a live dog or anything, but we're looking at his recent tenure. He won 2 of his last 10, going back to Toronto, Darwin Blanche in Winston-Salem, and then the absolute shitting of the bed from Khachanov in the first round of Beijing. He's on a 4-game losing streak. After that, Marozsan, Goffin, Kecmanovic, Brooksby, make it 5. Go for Binach, 1.25. Absolutely not. Brandon Nakashima, you should be getting that one done today, son. Absolutely. Giron, Mpetshi, Perricard, Grigor, Dimitrov. I just want to start by saying how happy I am that Dimitrov's back. I've seen his name on the draw, and I can't tell you how happy it made me. But then I seen who he was playing, and I thought, oh shit, oh fuck, this could be a problem. This could be a big problem now. You know me, for those that have been on the channel for quite some time. Grigor Dimitrov, I'd probably say he's been my favourite player for quite some time. Been my favourite player. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. I sit here and talk about him for hours, but If you're a fan of the game, you probably don't need me to tell you why I'm such a big fan of Grigor Dimitrov, or why I have been anyway. I still remain a big fan. This season's been very disappointing. It's been very disappointing to see for me, as you can imagine. 17 wins, 11 losses. Now, depending on who you are, that'd be decent. That would be decent depending on who you are. But for Grigor Dimitrov, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is nothing of the sort. 37 in the world. Get the fuck out of here. What has happened? These injuries, man, is he at that point in his career now? I don't know. There's a few of them that are sort of... How old is he? 34? There's a couple of them that are in and around that sort of point in the career, and they just look done. You never really know what they're going to do. Grigor Dimitrov is one of the very few that still looks like he can run rings around these 20-year-olds. When he's fit, this season, not so much. He's been really struggling. Start of the year, he was just pulling out, weren't he? What was happening with Dimitrov at the start? I'm sure he was just retiring, weren't he? Yeah. Got to the semi-finals in Brisbane, pulled out. Played Passado, Australian Open, pulled out. Lehechka beat him in Doha again. And he played in Dubai, pulled out. It's just, it's killing me. It's killing me. It's all coming back. I don't want to remind myself of what was, but it's I remember it. Decent in Miami semi-finals. I haven't seen him since Wimbledon. How long off is that? He's had nearly 3 months off, this guy, hasn't he? That's well, he has had 3 months off, nearly 4 months off actually. It's fucking hell. How shit do these players look when they haven't played tennis for quite some time? It's quite worrying, isn't it? I'm not comparing the two, but for instance, remember Ben Shelton the other week? He only had a month off, didn't he? He was out for a month. He come back and looked like absolute garbage, and he still doesn't look that good. Grigor Dimitrov, you don't need me to tell you he's a better player. He is miles better tennis player than Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard. That is a fact. I'll fight anyone that says anything otherwise. But how long have you had that? How much can I expect from him? Against Gio as well. I mean, if he's going to do anything, Paris Masters, indoor hard court, just turn up, serve bullets at Dimitrov at the backhand. This is what I'm worrying about. That just seems to be the easy path to victory for me. But as we know, Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard, he doesn't opt for the easy route, does he? This guy doesn't like the easy way. He tends to make things fucking 10 times harder for himself for whatever reason. I don't know. That's just me. I would love to take Dimitrov today. I would love to sit there and take him and watch it, and he wins, and it's all good, and it's win-win. Because not only has me boy won, but I've cashed me bet. I just need to wait and see. Folks. You understand, it's been quite some time with Grigor Dimitrov. He opened up around, I want to say 2.4, around 2.4, something or other. It's currently sitting at 2.2. I'm not the only one who knows that he's better. I'm not. We all know this. We all know he's better. Prime Dimitrov was fantastic. Dimitrov last season, unbelievable. I had high hopes for him this year as well, especially the way he started. But then he started pulling out, and it's just been creeping back. And even if Dimitrov does think he's ready for this, and he may very well be ready, he may feel ready, you can't account for something happening on the day. Or like I say, I'll revert back to it once more and then we'll move on. Ben Shelton said he was ready. Against David Goffin, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. When players say they're good to go, how much can we even trust that anymore? So we'll move on to... It was supposed to be Khachanov and Benjamin Bonzi, and the bastards pulled out, and I was looking forward to watching that one. I was looking forward to watching Benjamin Bonzi destroy Karen Khachanov on the indoor hard court in Paris. But that's not going to happen anymore, because he's playing Ethan Quinn. So now we're going to have to watch Ethan Quinn destroy him on the indoor hard court. No, I'm only joking. I'd love to just add with Ethan Quinn, and this is probably just as easy for me to say, yeah, Ethan Quinn. Karen Khachanov hasn't won a game since the US Open. No joy on the Asian swing. No joy on the indoor courts. Muller, Shang, Struff, Greek sport you'd expect them to beat. Probably all of them. Greek sport on the day can be a nightmare, but for what it's worth, you'd expect Khachanov to get it done against every one of them. And he didn't even look like winning. Even when he did look like he was winning, He just knew he was one slip away from it all falling apart. I don't know what it is. Lack of inspiration, lack of form. I don't know. Call it what you want. Call it what you want, but Ethan Quinn's still going. Ethan Quinn is still going. Come through qualifying. Hugo Blanchet, Van der Sandschulp, decent qualifying wins, in my opinion. Both of them in straight sets as well, mind you. Van der Sandschulp 6-2. No, it wasn't. Blanchet 6-2, 6-3. Van der Sandschulp 6-3 and a tiebreaker. Playing well. Playing well on these courts over in Paris. I am not picking it with any conviction whatsoever. It's just a pure Khachanov fade at this point. I know, and I hate using that word, you know I do, but that's how serious I am if I'm using it. He's got points to defend. Yet again, he needs to go on a decent run. He needs some wins here. Got to the semi-final last year, quarter-final the year before that. Karen Khachanov plays well in the Paris Masters, do not get me wrong. But just because you've played well last year and the year before, does that mean I'm just going to trust you to play well now? He's been playing crap, and he's been so disappointing. I know he's been taking sets and that, but it hasn't been enough. It hasn't been enough. I don't know. We'll see how serious he takes it. We'll see how serious he takes that. I'm sure he had points to defend in one of the other tournaments not that long ago. And it was a first round exit. Was it Kazakhstan? Or Vienna, maybe? I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments, but as much as I'd love to, at 1.4, I could not trust Karen Khachanov with a penny of my cash today, folks. Absolutely not. There's one or two that are filtering through from qualifying, so I'll let you be the decider of them. We've got Jacob Fearnley, Andrei Rublev. Just wanted to touch on this very quick. Not going to waste your time. You know what I'm going to say. You already know exactly what I'm going to say. Rublev, 1.6. So tempting. It's so tempting, as it always is. As it always is. All these matches are just 50-50s. They're all 50-50s, but at the end of the season now, we've been saying it all year. We haven't got that many chances left to say it, but we just can't trust Rublev. We just can't trust him. As much as you want to, and as much as you can look at a match like this and say, yeah, no way Jacob Fearnley should be beating him. I agree, he probably fucking shouldn't. But you know that he probably will. It's just, it's become that easy with Andrei Rublev at the moment. Especially since that US Open, man. I mean, he can't buy a win. He can't buy a win. Felix beat him in the US Open. Very disappointing performance from Rublev, in my opinion. Roya beat him in Hangzhou. Cobolli in Beijing. Nishioka. Get the fuck out. Nishioka in Shanghai. And then Cam Norrie in Vienna. Equally. Get the fuck out. Like, he's just... I don't know. I'm not going to go on about it. I'm not going to go on. Jacob Fearnley, for what it's worth. He's been playing fairly decent lately, hasn't he? Let's be honest. Ever since he beat Talon Griekspoor in Stockholm, he's been playing decent. Put in an absolute shitter against Elias Ymer. Absolute stinker. Let me rephrase. Ever since that absolute stinker from Elias Ymer, against Elias Ymer rather, he's been playing well. I'll give him that. Qualified for Vienna, beats Vecina and Medjedovic. Took a set off Zverev. We were all concerned for Zverev because Fearnley looked on fire in that one. And then he's qualified for this. Matteo Arnaldi, Yannick Hanfmann in straight sets. Solid qualifying opponents. If he turns up and plays good like he's been doing since we've come indoors basically, would you be surprised if he puts the pressure on Rublev? And if he is to put pressure on Rublev, you know, Fearnley's only lost 2 games? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's won 5-2 indoors, I think. Is that 5-2, if I'm correct? 8-4 this year. 4-3 for Rublev. If he turns up and he starts to apply the heat to Rublev, would you be surprised to see him melt on the opposite side of the net? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is just, as it always is, food for thought. But I just thought we'd touch on that one because, you know, it's Rublev, innit? It's Rublev. We've got Alex Michelsen and Zizou Bergs. I have no idea who's going to win this one. If I'm going off, you know, the head-to-heads in it and to go off, it's probably telling you Alex Michelsen's got this one in the bag. Played each other twice before on the hard courts. Both were last year. Both went the way of Alex Michelsen. 2-1 in Cincinnati, straight sets in the Winston-Salem. I'm noticing something. What is it? Can anyone notice what the problem is? Yeah, that's right. They were both in the States. But we ain't in America anymore. Absolutely not. Zizou Bergs is the favourite in this one. He didn't open up as a favourite, he opened up as a dog, and now he's a favourite. Call it a sub 1.8, 1.75 for Zizou Bergs. I get it. I just get it. I really do. Alex Michelsen against Cerundolo, that was very worrying. That was a very concerning performance now. Look, they get to the semi-finals in Kazakhstan prior to that tournament. Decent run. Looked crap in Vienna. He looked really bad in Vienna. Now, we can't always assume that that's what they're going to look like in this one. It's a new day. It's a new game. It's a new opponent, what have you. I don't know who to trust. Because Zizou Bergs, I'm at that point in the season now where I've said it all year. I need to see this guy playing well in order to know he's going to play well. He does function well as a dog. Since he was a dog, and now he's an obvious favourite. I don't know, I wish I would have took him as a dog. I feel like the ship sailed. At Zizou Bergs, split down the middle, slight favourite. I don't think I'd be touching that one. Would I be surprised if Alex Michelsen beats him? No, like I said, although they were in the States, he has beaten both times on the hard court. Alex Michelsen, when he turns up, is no joke on the surface. But neither is Zizou Bergs. He was decent in Shanghai. Korda, Rude, Cerundolo, Diallo, Djokovic in the quarterfinals. I think that version of Zizou Bergs can beat Alex Michelsen. Absolutely. But we'll see. There's one thing I know about Zizou Bergs. He doesn't really fare well with the old nerves, does he? When the heat is on. You can see it in him. You can see him start playing well. And you can see him start thinking in his head, I need to win this. This is the one. This is where I take the set. And this guy just seizes up. He starts blasting fucking forehands everywhere. He gets a bit wild. He's a bit wild, Zizou Bergs. I love it all the same. I do. He's very entertaining. But when you've got a bit of cash on Zizou Bergs to win, I always, at the end of it, I always sit there wishing I hadn't touched it. Win or lose. That's just my opinion. I do wish you the best of luck with that one. We could be in for and over. I'd take Zizou Bergs for the set. Alex Michelsen may or may not. He may be a little bit put out by that absolute arse whipping from Cerundolo. I think if Zizou Bergs can put something on him early, he should be able to. He should be good for the set. At least just the one. And I think we've got a couple more, folks. They haven't come through, or if they have, I do apologise. Look, we'll speed run them. This is up for you. Got Alexander Vukic, Terence Atmane. I would want to go with Terence Atmane, with it being the home Paris Masters and whatnot. But ever since he had what did he do? What game was that? Ugo Carabelli. He turned up as a big favourite. We all took him, and then he had like a breakdown or so. He had like I don't know, like heat stroke or something. I don't know. Contracted the plague. Someone put a curse on him after the 8th game. Yeah, he just fell apart. I don't think I've seen him since. Or have I? Let me just double check. Yeah. He pulled out against him and then played Mackenzie McDonald in qualifying for Vienna. Didn't even go through qualifying. I'm staying well away from that. Vukic is a slight favourite as well. I don't like it whatsoever. And then Kovacevic, Kecmanovic. Couldn't trust either one as far as I could throw them. And then, I've missed that one. I don't think that's qualifying, is it? No. Oh, well. It's Lorenzo Sonego and Sebastian Korda. Head-to-head 3-2 to Lorenzo Sonego. We're just going to get a serve fest here, aren't we? Serve and forehand fest on this one. I think Sebastian Korda should be good enough to beat Lorenzo Sonego in the Paris Masters. Lorenzo Sonego is on a 2-game losing streak. He is currently winning 3 of his last 10. Cerundolo in Chengdu, Artur Ferry and Kovacevic in Stockholm. Hugo Humbert beat him, and then Davidovich Fokina beat him first round in the Swiss indoors. As for Sebastian Korda, he's had to come through qualifying for this. Isn't that mad? Doesn't that sound weird? Sebastian Korda's had to qualify for the Paris Masters, folks. What the fuck is going on? Beat Victor Priva, barely got past Valentin Royer, but he did, and that's all that matters. I think he should be good. This does ring sort of more towards an over for me. It really does. Sonego in that first set, depending on how that goes, I feel like that could be testament to how the rest of the match goes. I really do. For the most part, he looked solid in that first set against Dugo Humbert. You couldn't touch him. You couldn't touch him. He even took that tiebreaker, and then I don't know. He just crumbles to shit sometimes, doesn't he? More often than not, 50% of the time, he crumbles to shit. I always say Sonego is somewhat of a 50-50 player. Even this season, it's a bit worse. 20 wins, 27 losses. Negative records across the board, except on the grass. That's 5-4. Can't trust that, mate. I'm sorry, I can't trust that whatsoever. But at the same time, when I say he's a 50-50 player, I always focus more on the losses. But that means he wins around 50% of the time as well. And if you're at a 50-50 player and you've got your around 2.5 on the decimal, would that not mean it's a good bet? I don't know. That's silly logic, innit? I don't think Sonego is going to beat Sebastian Korda. I know he's capable of doing it. Done it 3 times before, and he has beat him on the indoor hard courts twice. Beat him in France 3 years ago, and he beat him the first time in France. So I don't know. Maybe Sonego isn't that bad of a shout today. I don't know. You let me know. You be sure to let me know. But that is going to do us for tonight. I think, folks. I do think we've covered them all. Yeah, that's all of them in the bag. Sound. Very well then, folks. That's going to do us once again. Another day in the bag. Can't wait for the Paris Masters. Been looking forward to this. I always enjoy this tournament. Pretty sure we'll be in for some absolute bangers along the way. But thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate each and every one of you, as always. Like and subscribe before you go, and I'd appreciate that as well. But you take it easy. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. And I'll be seeing you around. Best of luck with your day, however you decide to go about your business. Have yourself a good one, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow.